Hey, Jonny May here, and welcome to this quick tip where I'm going to teach you 10 of my favorite funk piano licks. And if you want to play funk piano, you really need to understand funk licks and how to put them together. So in today's lesson, I'm going to teach you 10 of my favorite funk licks, starting with beginner licks and working our way to more advanced licks. You'll learn single note licks, double note licks, ostinatos, crunch licks, and runs down the piano. It's going to be a ton of fun. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, before I teach you the licks, I want to quickly show you what I think is the most important funk progression. I'll show you 3 different accompaniments for your left hand depending on your playing level, and then I'll teach you the 10 licks. So the funk chord progression is very simple. It's basically a C minor 7 going to an F dominant 7. Now, I don't recommend that you play these chords like this because you have to jump between the chords. It's actually much better to play a left-hand accompaniment, okay, like this. So I'm going to teach you 3 left-hand accompaniments next, but before we do this, if you're enjoying the lesson, please hit the like button, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this. All right, first we'll start with a level 1 accompaniment. This is more of a beginner accompaniment, and it sounds like this. Okay? Super simple to play, and what I love about this left hand is it has a lot of rhythm, but you don't have to jump around too much between these chords. So I'm basically starting on a C minor 7, I'm taking the 5th out of the chord to simplify it, and then for my F7, it's right there. Okay, it's super simple, and if you don't know where this F chord comes from, there's my F7. I'm just inverting the notes down, and then I'm simplifying it and getting rid of the root, okay? Now the rhythm really matters. It goes like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. See how I put that B flat on the end? And then on the next measure, it's the same rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Also notice that I make the first chord short or staccato. That's going to add a lot of character to your left hand, okay? So make sure this is feeling good. And next, we're going to talk about the intermediate left hand. All right, level 2 is the intermediate left hand. It sounds amazing. Check it out. These are some very hip chords called extended chords, and it's actually a very simple concept. If you take a chord like your C minor 7 and you add 1 note to it, the D, which we call the 9, now we have a really hip C minor chord. If you grab the root really low in the chord, it has a really nice kind of jazzy sound to it. Same for the F7 chord. Check this out. Instead of playing an F7 like this, we're going to play it like this. F on the bottom, and a really hip chord. This is called a rootless voicing chord, E flat, G, A, and D, okay? The technical name for this chord is an F13 chord, but don't worry too much about the names. This will make sense over time, okay? Now the rhythm goes like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And you want to get that jump in there. You can also grab some low notes like a low C. That sounds really nice. You can even grab the low F if you want. All right, the level 3 left hand is more for advanced pianists, and if you want to add some rhythm to your left hand, it sounds amazing. Here's a quick example. So as you can hear, this left hand really drives the groove. It is so much fun to play. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the chord C minor 7 and I'm breaking it up. I'm going root, chord, root, root, chord, root. And then I do this on the F chord. Root, chord, root, root, chord, root. Now for the F chord, I'm jumping up to the 7th and the 3rd of the chord. It's an inversion. And so this can be a little bit tricky at first when you're jumping on the F chord and getting back down to the root. So I encourage you to practice this. All right, let's briefly play these left hands with the included backing track, and then I'm going to teach you the 10 licks. Here we go. We'll start with level 1. Here we go. Here's level 2. Here's the F, and level 3. All right, it's time to learn the 10 licks, and we're gonna start with single note licks, which are the simplest licks, and then it's gonna get progressively more challenging until you learn some advanced licks at the end, which are the runs. So I'm gonna play lick number 1 for you, and then I'm gonna break down exactly what I'm doing. First thing to know about this lick is that I'm using the notes from the C minor blues scale, okay? So it's very helpful to first make sure you can play this scale, and then you can start playing licks like this. So what I'm doing is I'm starting on the G, and I'm doing a double slide to the G, which sounds like this, okay? That's basically F, F sharp, G. We go up to B flat, and then I do a turn on the F, okay? That's F, G flat, F, E flat. We come back up, F, E flat, and that's the lick, and we're gonna repeat it. There's the double slide to G, B flat, the turn, and then F, E flat. So here's the full lick very slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now you can practice this slowly with the left hand. I'll go ahead and play it with the slowest track at 70 BPM. Here we go. By the way, I wanted to mention that this lesson comes with 3 downloadable backing tracks. You can also download the lesson sheet music on the top left of your screen, and you can change the key of this entire lesson with a click of one button with our smart sheet music, so I'll put a link to all of that below. All right, next you're gonna learn 2 of my favorite double note licks. This is when you play 2 notes at the same time during your lick. I'll go ahead and play it for you, and then I'll break it down. All right, for this lick, I'm actually adding a note to our blues scale. We're using the A, which comes from the C major blues scale. And a lot of pianists don't know that you can actually mix your major blues scale and your minor blues scale that I taught you earlier, okay? So for this lick, I'm starting on the F and the A. I'm doing a little turn on F, like this. You see that? And then I come back up to the F and A, E flat, C, and then back to the E flat A and the F and the A. Okay? Here it is really slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And it sounds really great when you speed it up. Now here it is with the left hand. We'll play it with the slow backing track so you can see exactly how the hands come together. Here we go. Now a quick little trick is that you can change the top note to a C, and it sounds really cool. You hear that? Okay, all I'm doing is taking that A and turning it into a C, and then I'm playing the same thing on the bottom. All right, lick number 3 is another double note lick. I'll go ahead and play it for you, and then I'll break it down. Now what I love about this lick is that you start with a turn, okay? And so it adds a lot of energy to your playing. So what I'm doing is I'm actually starting on the G as a little pickup note, and then on the downbeat I do a turn on the B flat, okay? So B flat, C, B flat, G. Now, this is the challenging part. You're gonna cross the 3rd finger over to the G flat, and you're gonna play that with the C, okay? Then the F and the C, and then we're gonna do a turn on the E flat. Does that make sense? So here's what we have so far. The pickup note, turn on the B flat, cross over G flat and F, turn on the E flat, and then we're gonna go F and A, E flat and G, C is our pivot note, F and A, E flat and G. Does that make sense? And that's the full lick. It's going to repeat when you come up there, okay? So here's the full lick with the rhythm. Here it is. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. And here it is slowly with the backing track so you can hear how the hands come together. Here we go. All right, the next two licks are what I call crunch licks. And this is when I mix 3 or 4 notes together to get a really cool crunchy chord. I'll go ahead and play lick number 4 and then break it down. So for this one, I'm grabbing a C7 chord. These are the top notes of the C blues scale, but I'm throwing in a slide to the G, and it gives it a very crunchy, bluesy sound. You hear that? So we have the grab, again, and then we're gonna come down to the F on the bottom, get a little melody on the bottom, E flat on the bottom, C by itself, and then we repeat the same thing. So the crunch, again, now the F, and then E flat, and down to C. Does that make sense? Now the rhythm goes like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And here it is slowly so you can see how the hands come together. Here we go. By the way, if you want to do a deep dive on how to play in the funk style and you want to learn more about this topic, including chord progressions, common rhythms, left-hand bass lines, and even more licks that you can play in the right hand, check out our courses Funk and Smooth Jazz Grooves and Licks. We have the beginner to intermediate level course and the intermediate to advanced level course, so I'll put a link to those below. All right, lick number 5 is another crunch lick. I'll go ahead and play it for you and then I'll break it down. Now this is a very simple lick because all you're doing is grabbing 2 chords, a beautiful C minor 9 chord, and then on the F, you're going to a beautiful F13 chord, okay? Now one more thing that's very important is the rhythm, okay? On the first chord, we're gonna play 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Notice how I go to the F13 chord a little bit early, okay? So make sure you play this correct rhythm. All right, lick number 6 is an ostinato lick, and an ostinato is a short repeated pattern. So an ostinato lick is a very short lick that you keep repeating over and over again. So I'll go ahead and play it for you, and then I'll break it down. So for this one, I'm grabbing the G and the C on top, but I'm sliding the G, okay? So we're gonna take that F sharp and slide up to G. So we have 1, and we're gonna repeat that, and then here's the really cool part, okay? I'm basically grabbing the G flat and the C. I'm using the same finger to come down to F, and then E flat C. Okay, that is the full lick, okay? So it's gonna repeat a number of times, but you really wanna make sure you get the rhythm here. 1 and 2 and. You want to make sure that C lands on the and of beat 2. And then you do the same thing. 3 and 4 and. Does that make sense? Here it is a little faster. 1 and 2 and. 3 and 4 and. And here it is faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, lick number 7 is what I call a tremolo lick. And a tremolo is when you grab a chord and you rock the notes. Okay, so I'm going to play this for you and then I'll break it down. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing a big C7 chord like this, but then I'm sliding into the G from the G flat. So you're going to grab the G flat with the index finger, slide up into the G, and then you're going to tremolo your chord. And the way that I like to tremolo is I take the note that my index finger is playing and I use it as a pivot note. So I'm going to keep that note down and I'm going to shake the notes around it like this. You see what I'm doing? So there are many different ways to tremolo. You could grab all the notes like this, or you could pick a different pivot note. You could use the B flat, you know, and try to shake it like that. But I like to use the G, and then we shake the notes. And then for the next chord, the F7 chord, we're going to play a big F9 chord. Okay, it has the G in it. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use that E flat with the index finger as our pivot note, and we're going to just rock the chord like this really quickly. So here's the rhythm with the left hand, and we're going to play it at a slow tempo. Here it is. 2, and here we go. By the way, I wanted to mention another really great chorus. If you want to learn just a ton of licks and riffs that you can play in the funk style, the chorus is called Our Bible of Blues Riffs. And it has 120 riffs in the blues style, but all of these blues riffs actually work as well in the funk style. We have a beginner to intermediate level chorus and an intermediate to advanced level chorus, so I'll put a link to both of those below. All right, the next two licks that you're gonna learn are called down runs. And sometimes when you're playing licks, you wanna start really high and you wanna come all the way down the piano. And so these are really fun if you wanna play kind of a flashier sounding lick. So I'm gonna play lick number 8 for you, and then I'll break down exactly what I did. So for this lick, I'm basically using the C blues scale to come down, but I'm adding some chords, which I call gospel chords, and it makes it have a really cool sound. So I'm starting on the high C, coming down the blues scale. So B flat, G. We're gonna harmonize the G flat with the C, single note F, E flat, C, and then here are the gospel chords. We're gonna go F and A, down to E flat and G, and then we're going to continue down the blues scale. So C, B flat, G, same pattern, G flat and C, single note F, we're going to come down E flat and C, and here are the gospel chords again, F and A, E flat and G, and continue the pattern, C, B flat, G, harmonize the C with the G flat, F, E flat, and we're going to end it here with the gospel chords, C, F and A, down to E flat and G. Here it is slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here it is slowly with the left hand and the backing track. Here we go. All right, lick number 9 is a more modern sounding funk lick that uses a technique called quartal chords. And this is basically where you take different chord shapes built in fourth intervals and you play a line down the piano. So I'm gonna play this lick and then I'll break it down for you. So for this technique, I'm actually using a different scale called the C Dorian scale. So make sure you know this scale so that you understand how I came up with this lick. So for this lick, I'm actually starting on the D, and I'm playing fourth intervals up using notes from the scale. So we have D, G, C, and then we're gonna play another fourth shape coming down from the B flat. So B flat, F, and C, all fourth intervals. We're gonna cross over to the B flat, grab an F on the top, and now we're gonna start our fourth shapes again, starting from E flat. So we go E flat, B flat, F, And then we're going to finish the lick by changing it just a little bit. We're going to go G, C, and then we're going to go B flat, F, B flat. So we get one more fourth interval. Now from here, we're going to play the same lick again, starting on the D, except our chord is going to change to an F7. So we have, there's the fourth intervals, crossover, B flat, F, fourth intervals from the E flat, and we're going to finish G, C, B flat, F, B flat. So here's the full lick really slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here are the hands together at a slow tempo. Here we go. All right, lick number 10, I think, is the coolest sounding lick. For this lick, we're gonna actually play a run, but we're gonna start low. We're gonna come up the piano and back down the piano. I'll play it for you and then I'll break it down. So for this lick, you're actually going to use two techniques that I already taught you, except you're going to combine them together. So first, you're going to play a fourth shape up the piano by using C, F, and B flat. Okay, these notes come from the C minor pentatonic scale or the C minor blues scale, and we're going to play this up the piano. Okay, now when we get to the high B flat, we're going to come down with an F major chord. It's very simple. Then we're going to go to our C minor blues scale. We're going to grab that E flat and turn on it. So like that. Come down to the C, B flat, and now we're going to play our C blues scale coming down the piano. G, harmonize the G flat with the C, F, E flat, C. We're going to play our gospel chords. See those? And then C, B flat, G. Harmonize the G flat with the C, F, E flat, F. Here's the rhythm very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here it is slowly with the left hand and the backing track. Here we go. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the lesson, please let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to check out pianowithjonny.com. We have over 1,000 step-by-step lessons for all playing levels where you'll learn your favorite songs, styles, and how to improvise at the piano. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.